Hey everyone, I'm Jen, and I own a veterinary technician relief business.
And I'm Michelle. I own a veterinary technician mobile house call business.
And you are
And you are
listening
listening
to
to
Endless
Endless
Journeys,
Journeys,
the Vet
the
Tech
Vet Tech
Odyssey
Odyssey
podcast.
podcast.
In this podcast, we will be discussing and meeting with credentialed technicians who have created their own path with business ownership within the veterinary space.
Our goal is to help inspire burnt out vet techs before they leave the industry altogether through our stories and the stories of other vet tech business owners. Happy Monday, everybody. How are you doing today, Jen?
I'm doing as great as anyone can do on a Monday.
Eh?
Well, it's Tuesday.
Well, it's Tuesday.
But
yeah, today's Tuesday.
But technically it's Monday, right? For our listeners. So that's why we say that.
Yeah. But it could be like Wednesday at 10 p.m. and we're like, happy Monday morning. And I'm sitting there like, dude, I'm about ready to put my retainer in and go to bed in 10 minutes.
Yeah, when it's like nighttime outside.
Right.
But yeah, so yesterday was my real Monday. But
Okay.
Today's Tuesday, and we are interviewing Hannah Rippey today. So this episode will be coming out in May. And Vet Assistant Week is in the month of May. So me and Michelle thought that it would be really great to highlight a vet assistant for the month of May. And I believe we have another vet assistant that we're going to be interviewing as well. So that can just be our main focus for this month. Because our vet assistants are really important too, and we love our vet assistants, and they take really good care of their technicians. And I don't know what the frick I would do without my vet assistants, especially the ones who hold my fractious cats for me so that I can do what I need to do with them.
We all know how Jen feels about cats, fractious cats.
So I love my vet assistants. They know that I love them. But again, yeah, that's just something that we wanted to do special this year.
Yes. The whole month of May is dedicated to veterinary assistants. National Veterinary Assistant Week is the 17th through the 23rd. So any of you DVMs or practice managers out there, make sure you celebrate your veterinary assistants. I don't know where I heard this from. I think this was honestly the Becky Moster's podcast, the Veterinary Viewfinder, where I heard this, where they were talking about celebrating everybody in 1 week. And it's like, well, do you want your birthday celebrated with everybody's birthday, or can we all just have our own birthday? I'm pretty sure that's the podcast I heard on. I could be wrong though, but it made sense because it's like, that's your day. That's your birthday. Let's all not have the same birthday. Let's just spread our birthdays out where they belong. So that's why, like Vet Assistant Week, National Veterinary Technician Week. There's even CSR Week coming up too here in April.
Yeah, I saw that.
Yep. They have their own week. I love that our profession is going into the direction to where, actually, I want to change that. Our industry is going to a direction that each profession has its own week. But I don't think we have a DVM week. I think we need that though, because I think we have like National Veterinarian Day, which is in April.
I hear that from some veterinarians where they're like, well, we don't have a week. But I've had my thoughts about that too. I'm like, y'all are worshipped, okay? When the thank you notes come out, your name is on the thank you card. So,
Yeah.
but I'm not going to get too deep into that. Veterinarians deserve to be appreciated too. I agree. They definitely do.
Yes. And I know for my clinics, I will be dropping off some goodies, or I'll be doing like an edible arrangement. I always do something during National Veterinary Assistant Week and National Reception Week for my pet's veterinarian. They're actually my pet's veterinary teams. Because I know like every Christmas they get bombarded with cookies, and that's like they have enough to like clear out the entire break room. So I make sure to stand out as a client, and I make sure to send them stuff during the national veterinary holidays for the staff. And so that reminds me, I should actually get my orders in for them so I can send them some really good stuff this year.
Yeah.
So we're glad to be highlighting all of our veterinary assistants this month.
Yeah.
The whole month. Yes.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yes.
The whole month.
Yes.
So Yep. So we will be doing that interview with Hannah in just a few moments. Me and Michelle, we're just going to do our short little intros and then we'll get right into it.
Yeah. I think this is one of the last episodes me and you were recording in my house, actually. And we got my friend Hannah here because I am preparing to go to Arizona with my aunt, my uncle. And because of the way the timing worked out with your pregnancy and the seasons, I don't want to be in Arizona during the hot season. You know, there's snakes that come out. So I can only go. And Hannah knows it too. Yeah, you see her laughing. Um, I'm definitely scared of snakes, so I will not go out to Arizona during the warm months, only during the cooler months. So I'm running out of time to go there. So my aunt, my uncle, and they're
You're
very
running
busy.
out of time.
I am, because I'm like, they come out of hibernation. You know, the snakes, they come out of hibernation in Arizona. And that hibernation is usually late April, early May. So
Huh.
for me, I can't be in Arizona when I know they're out. Like, if I
Interesting.
see one, I will
I
probably
didn't know
die.
that.
Yeah.
I saw a
Well,
tarantula in Arizona once. I was
oh, those
not
are
a
fun.
fan.
Oh, I
Mm-mm.
didn't know tarantulas are down there.
I saw one on the
Oh,
porch when I went to Sedona. I was like,
that's probably it.
mm-mm. I like Sedona a lot, but when I saw that, I was like, oh my gosh, make sure it stays outside. Absolutely not. Snakes don't bother me though.
Tarantulas don't bother me, but snakes scare the hell out of me. I can't. I won't. Nope. I'm getting a little bit better. Like, and our Kristen Lake episode, like when she was talking about him, like I was starting to veer off a little bit. Like my husband, I'm like, oh, I can't talk about this much longer. But yeah, so that's why when I say I'm running out of time to get there, that's what means I'm running out of times because they know
You're
I will
going to
not come out.
Sedona though?
Yeah, so my aunt,
I
my uncle,
love
they live.
Sedona.
It's so gorgeous. Oh
I
my
need to
God,
take
it's
my husband
beautiful.
there because he's
Take
never
him.
been.
Oh, it's strange because you don't realize how beautiful it is until you're there, and then you're just
Yeah.
in complete awe of how a place can be so beautiful. And there's Jerome, which is right next to Sedona, which I love Jerome. It's on the side of a mountain. My aunt, my uncle, they're in Surprise, Arizona, so not too far. So it's like an hour drive. So it's like a day thing. I mean, we're not gonna go hiking or anything because I'm lazy and I don't like the outdoors, but I do like
Yeah, we did a lot of
the
hiking
state.
when we went to Sedona. It was nice. It was so pretty.
Yes, it's so
We did
pretty. I like
sunset
that.
hiking too.
Ooh,
It's
that'd be
really
pretty,
pretty.
especially in Sedona because it's like already golden and yellow down there. Like
Hmm.
all the mountains are already orange. So I can only imagine seeing it the sunset.
Or not sunset, sunrise. That's what we did. We did a sunrise. Me and my best
Ugh,
friend. That's what we did. Can't remember what we specifically went hiking, but it was like one of those big hikes that everyone does when they go to Sedona. But anyway, I'm
yeah,
excited for you.
yeah, me too. This will be my third or fourth time going out there. I know it's my second time going out there with my aunt, my uncle exclusively, but me and Alex been out there a few times prior to that because they would have conferences out in Scottsdale, and I just basically tagged along at his old job,
Nice.
freeloaded. Yeah, so I do love it out there. So yeah, I spent this week preparing my clients for it and getting them ready. So because of my rotation and because of how I do my scheduling, I had to find new spots for everybody. So that was like the big conquer of this week is like get these guys into their spots. And I think my admin Wednesday that I made a few months ago, I was like, I'm gonna take one day off a month to just catch up on everything. That's my makeup day for Arizona. And I'm gonna try to slam in. Oh God, Jen, I think I'm at 23 or 24 appointments now for that Wednesday coming up. I don't know how I'm going to survive, but it might be like a record breaking day. So that's my week. It's been really quiet. I see that face. Yeah, I know. It's
Yeah, that's gonna be
I don't know how I'm
tough.
gonna do it.
That sounds awful. That makes me tired, just even listening, hearing you say that. That just made me more
Yeah.
sleepy.
Yeah. But it's like, but you get it though. It's like when you own your own business, you don't get
Yeah, you gotta
PTO.
do
And
what you gotta do.
I'm like, I don't want to, and I know how much revenue that week brings in for me. And I'm like, I
Yeah.
don't want to lose out on all that money. Like,
Yeah.
so, I,
Yeah, it'll
so
be worth it.
yeah, so that's why I slam everybody in like the week before, the week after. I try to, I try to evenly do it, but the way that this route is ran, I can't do that. So, yeah, that's been interesting. But yeah, I moved everybody around. And this is one thing I like about my business is because my schedule is so what's what I'm looking for? Organized and so routine. It's so routine, it's so organized that it allows me to easily reschedule everybody and I can still work and I know way ahead of time. Like, I'm literally planning this out for next month
Right.
because I'm like, we're a month ahead. I'm like, I know next month these are my clients that are going to be here. I know I'm gonna be gone, so let me start working on them now versus like a week before, a couple of days before I leave the trip. No, I have that stuff planned out like a month or two in advance. So that's how my week's been going, is trying to figure out where I'm gonna put 40 something clients, I think. So
Yikes. Oh
yeah.
my gosh, girl, that's crazy.
Crazy fun though. I
Sure.
mean, yeah. I mean, how else do you think I'm gonna play for that? How to go out there like, like I gotta make that money. I gotta be spinning and I don't know what's the term I'm looking for. Wheeling and dealing. Yes, wheeling and
Yeah.
dealing.
I mean, I know
Mm-hmm.
that's what everyone keeps saying to me too, where they're like, how much longer are you going to be working? And I was like, honestly, I'm just trying to get my hours in so I could try to get my paid maternity leave. I'm just trying to make a little bit of money that I can until I'm not going to work anymore. Like, I'm, it's hard. It's not easy. But when you have a goal in mind and you're just like, just to make that little bit of extra money. Like, I don't want to do this, but you got to do what you got to do and so that you can enjoy your time off, right?
Mm-hmm.
So that's what you're
Exactly.
doing.
Yes, doing what I gotta do now to enjoy my time off next month.
Sometimes we got to make those really hard sacrifices so that we can really enjoy our time off, make it worth our
Yes.
while.
Yes, yes. I'm looking forward to it. And how's your week been? What have you been up to this week?
Um, I worked yesterday. I'm trying to stick to the goal of working 2 days a week right now, but it's getting tough. It's just getting because I'm not sleeping. And on my days off, I'm trying to go to the gym still, and I'm hungry all the time now. and it's just hard to maneuver and move around how I'm used to being able to. And so I'm just, like I said, I'm trying to reach that end goal. So I worked yesterday, I work tomorrow, and then we're just batch recording. And then I'm just trying to edit and spend all my time focusing on that so that I can actually have time off when little baby comes. So, yeah, right now I just feel like it's just crunch time and I'm exhausted. But that's what I said, like with you with your 40 clients in one day, I'm kind of just like I'm just thinking in my head. I'm like it's temporary. It's a short period of time. You get it done so that I can enjoy that time off so that I don't
Mm-hmm.
have to worry about anything once baby comes for at least a certain period of time. Um, yeah, it's getting tough. And of course yesterday we had one of those days where there wasn't like anything going on for the majority of the day, and then my last 2 hours of work what we were slammed. And I hate those days because then I'm like, well, I've been here for my entire shift and now just because it's busy, I'm not going to stay.
Yeah.
Especially in the state I'm in now. I'm like, I'm lucky if I can even, like, because I work till 10 and then I have an hour drive home. So,
Oh, you're
yeah.
getting home late, man.
Mm-hmm. And
Oh.
so I was like, I am not staying. I will leave. And they're like, Jen, can you do this? Jen, can you do this? I'm like, I will do that. And then I'm leaving. They're like, okay. But then it was like,
I mean, yeah.
and then I
Sure.
felt like a bitch, like as I'm like leaving, like, oh, I feel like such a bitch. But everyone honestly, like, they were like, bye, Jen. Like, thank you for your help. Thank you so much. And I was like, okay, at least it seems like they still appreciate me because I was like, I am not staying. I have to leave. I'm really sorry, but I can't stay here. I have to
Oh
go.
my.
But
I picture the clinic being, no, I'm going home. I am walking out now with your pregnant belly. I mean,
it
you're
was
about ready
like,
to have a baby
I
soon.
mean, yeah, I
Yes,
mean,
walk
no
the
one's
hell
gonna
out the
argue
door.
with me,
Yeah.
right? Like, no one's gonna be like, no, you can't leave. Like,
Stay here, pregnant lady,
no.
and help us lift this 90-pound dog, please. Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
No.
yeah, we got crazy. We were crazy yesterday, and then who knows how it's gonna be tomorrow. And then I'm just week by week, I'm still just like, okay, so maybe I can work 2 days next week. But we'll see. I mean, and then people ask me all the time, and they're like, how much time do you have left? And I'm like, technically, I have 2 months, which doesn't seem very long.
Mm-mm. It's gonna fly right by. Like
Yeah.
these last 2 months are just gonna like shoot on by, and yeah, and then we're gonna have like the whole summer off. Like if
Mhm.
I have everything planned out, but yeah, I mean we're batch recording right now, so that way Jen can have some much needed time off to like recuperate, enjoy her baby, enjoy the summer. Like you couldn't have a baby at a better time. Like the spring. That way you can enjoy the summer. And the baby's gonna have fun springtime birthday parties too.
I know.
So
That's
yeah.
what everyone was saying.
Yeah.
But I was able to enjoy the weekend. We had a beautiful sunny weekend, and I had a girls' day with one of my really good friends. We went to a coffee shop that's like a coffee shop slash brunch slash bookstore place, and
Oh.
we spent like all day there. And then I came home, and my husband's like, I'm gonna take you out to dinner. And so he took me out to dinner, and then we went hot tubbing at a reasonable temperature so no one freaks out. Um,
Disclaimer.
at a safe temperature that was doctor approved. And then Sunday was just gorgeous. So I literally just spent like, I mean, you know how I am, Michelle. Like, especially I feel like I've been so cooped up in this pregnancy and like just not doing anything and not traveling and not even like hiking or like snow camping or doing any of our stuff, no snowboarding. So it was so beautiful on Sunday. I literally spent every minute outside. My husband did yard work and me and the dogs just sat outside in the sun. I read my books and listened to my music while we were out there, ate breakfast and lunch, and yeah, we literally spent the whole day outside. And so that was really nice. I didn't do any editing. I was a bad dog. I was supposed to do at least an hour of editing on Saturday and Sunday, and I did not. So I'm gonna do them tonight.
Yeah. Yeah.
but
Yeah, so
but
okay.
yeah.
Well, good. Well, I'm glad you got some outdoorsy time because I know you are an outdoorsy person and you love to do
Yeah.
all this stuff in the sun, kind of like Hannah,
Mhm.
actually. She's very outdoorsy too. She's always running, hiking, doing so. I don't know what is in your guys' DNA to love the outdoors so much. You can't regulate the temperature, you can't regulate the sun, you can't control it. You're either hot or you're cold. So hats off to you guys for going outside. I love that. I like
Yeah.
stay in my den all day and like play video games and like just hide in the basement like a creature. And yeah.
Yeah, I'm over this
Yeah.
winter. I'm ready for this baby to pop out and I'm ready to like go camping like every weekend. Even my husband this weekend was like, "We could go camping." And I was like, "We can't. I
Yeah.
already made plans with Michaela on Saturday." And he's like, "Ah, damn it." And I was
Aw.
like, "Yeah." I was like, "If I didn't, yeah, we would go camping." But we'll go camping a lot this summer. It's gonna happen.
Yes.
So
Oh, I'll miss you this summer. Okay.
all
So
right, you guys, we are gonna get on here with Hannah and we're gonna start our interview segment.
Hannah has been a veterinary assistant on and off since 2017. Anytime she has left vet med, it has called her back, and Hannah is currently working as a veterinary assistant and loves the clinic she is employed at. The owners and the staff are very supportive of her photography business, which is what Michelle, me, hi, called a unicorn clinic that she is super grateful for. Her clinic is really awesome, guys, just saying. In 2020, Hannah moved from Washington State to Michigan with her husband and heart dog, Charlie. When Hannah started this new chapter, she felt an urgency to document Charlie's life, so she purchased her first camera that year. That desire quickly grew into something bigger. In 2021, Hannah started her photography business, combining her background as a veterinary assistant with a deep love for animals, especially the gray muzzled and terminally ill pets. What began with Hannah's own dog becoming a calling, preserving the love stories we never get long enough with. Now she is currently working full time as a veterinary assistant and running the photography business, which can be challenging some days, but also extremely rewarding. She has helped over 100 families with senior and terminally ill pets in the Metro Detroit area, and even a few in her home state of Washington. Prepare and navigate end of life and senior related care with pay what you can forever sessions and discounted golden paw sessions to help encourage people to process their grief and celebrate their life with their pet. Hannah also offers regular pet inclusive sessions, and she is currently dabbling in photography of other type of animals as well as dog inclusive weddings. The two careers go hand in hand very well. Hannah, thank you for coming in.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah. So you mostly do photography business. Tell us a little bit more about your business and what your main focus is, but it sounds like there's kind of like a two in one in there. Is that right? is what it sounds like.
Yeah, so I initially started out like capturing everything, family photos, senior sessions, that kind of thing. And that was kind of when I first started. I was trying to be pet inclusive, but it actually wasn't until I just like completely niched down and said no photos unless there's a pet involved. Which I was very scared to take that leap, to be honest, because it is quite a niche. And I've had to turn down like other sessions, which, in turn does mean money. But I think that it was a pretty bold but smart move on my part because as soon as I niched down, my true passion came through, and I think that really has been reflected in my business. So I'll do any type of session, seniors in high school, families, now with kind of dabbling into the weddings a little bit. But my focus is that I want those sessions to be pet inclusive, and I try to cater it to the pet as well as the family. So that's where my background in vet med has really been helpful, just with I feel like I'm able to recognize the behaviors of dogs, for example, reading their body language, making sure that they are comfortable above even anything in the session like the posing or anything like that. Because I want them to feel relaxed as well. So I will also do like a combination of um like at a location, whether it's a park or I try to find places that are more open and less populated just for the dogs that can get stressed. As well as in-home sessions as well because I find that there are the pets that are a lot more comfortable at home, i.e. cats. You're not necessarily bringing your cats out, although I have had one client that did that, and it did not go the best. No cats were harmed, everyone was okay, but it was a little nerve-wracking, just to have some kitties out in public, like at a park, just when I don't see that as much with cats. So I'll also cater the at-home sessions to, like, the senior and aging, mainly dogs, that just don't travel as well, or even just anxiety, traveling, car anxiety. Sometimes they're more comfortable at their home environment.
Yeah, I didn't even think about cats. That's cool though.
Few, not as many as I definitely cater to like the dog moms as a dog mom myself.
Hey, you had those big, beautiful Maine Coons though, like what, a month ago? Like I
I
saw those
did.
as a Maine Coon fan. Yeah. Yeah, you had those
Yeah,
guys. Those are
they
beautiful.
are gorgeous. I think there were 3. She's having me come back sometime later this year because she wants to do some, like, giant framed photos on her walls, so I'm excited because those Maine Coons, they are pretty majestic to photograph too.
I
As a
bet.
former Maine Coon owner, I agree. They are very majestic to photograph. Rest in peace, my Rodimus. So yeah, those photos were just gorgeous. I love them. And I have seen your work before. I mean, you're my friend. I know you personally. You even did my photos, like my social media photos, the picture of me, Kiki, and Bronson. That's your work. And that's the park that you go
Yep.
to that's secluded. Like
Yep,
your
yep.
work is gorgeous.
Yeah, so you've gotten to see firsthand just kind of how I work and yeah.
Yeah. So was there like any one particular breaking point that led you to really start your own business? Was there like one moment where you're like, I want to turn this into a full business?
Um Honestly, I had a point when it was one of the I think there's maybe been 3 times now that I've left vet med and ended up coming back. I just couldn't stay away because I also was an LMT, a licensed massage therapist. I
Oh.
did that for about 7 years, and I usually was pairing that with being still in vet med part-time because I just couldn't let it go. But I tried out going full time with massage. And it never was my passion. And so it was a lot harder for it to come naturally to me. And being that I am very ADHD, being quiet and calm for an hour with someone in a dark room is honestly very hard for my brain as there's like no mental stimulation. Whereas in vet med, it sometimes is overly stimulating. So it's kind of the opposite end, but it stimulates my brain in a very good way. Um, Sorry, that was like a little sidetrack, but when I was doing massage full time, I just felt myself feeling the need to continue to work with animals. So that was when I niched down to just doing the pet photography because I think I was trying to fulfill that passion. And then ultimately, I want to say maybe 2 or 3 years later is when I decided, just kind of with how life was going with massage, I just decided to be done with it completely. And my clinic that I'm at, I had worked at before for almost a year, and I reached out and the timing just happened to be perfect and I came back.
So you are working full time in a clinic and then you're doing the pet photography on the side. Is that what you're doing?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah,
As
that's a
Michelle
lot.
would say, as Michelle would say, I'm one of the busiest people she knows.
She is. Oh my god, she does not stop.
That's a
She
I
lot.
doesn't. Yeah.
I do love it, but at the same time, one of my struggles has been setting boundaries with myself, like with, "Hey, I don't need to take this client." Or if they're offering me a weekday off at work, because sometimes that happens with slowdowns and
Right.
whatnot, maybe I should take it. Or just prioritizing spending time with my family, my husband, and my friends, which, as we all know as adults, is hard enough to have an adult relation like friendship as it is,
Right.
but when you're just constantly busy, it's hard to.
So
So
do
I've been
you advertise at the clinic that you work at?
yes. I don't I would say my advertising has been more so I've actually had clients that have booked with me that are clients at the clinic I
Mhm.
work at. It's mainly just because of kind of the reputation I would say I've gotten in the area. And so
Good
it's nice like
reputation.
seeing them because they're like, "Oh, you did our photos for, Jax and
Yeah.
Jax and Carl were two recently actually, and one of them passed away. So it's just like kind of, beautiful to walk with them through that and then also see them at the clinic. But they have they have offered that I can have like some, if I wanted to have pamphlets or whatnot, I've had them there in the past. I just have honestly been bad about getting around to printing them off. But it's been a lot of just like support. Like I actually did our clinic cat passed away last year.
Remember
Her name
that.
was TT. And they had me take some end of life photos for TT on the day that we euthanized her, and like
Aw.
all of us were standing around a circle around her and just sending her off. And when I did the photos, they shared it on their social media. It got like a bunch of engagement, which, you know, a beautiful moment like that. It's I do love seeing
Yeah.
that kind of get out there in the open, that the clinic is supportive of, all of us caring about our clinic cat. And at the same time, like that I did the photos, it was nice to have just the recognition, the appreciation from them.
Right. That's awesome. How do you think that your background in vet med has helped you within your business other than what you've already talked about? Would you say like behaviorally that that has helped you?
Behaviorally, yes. I feel like it kind of gives me just that kind of extra bit that I'm able to advocate for the animals and
Mhm.
advocate for our field in vet med.
She
Um,
does.
because in general, a lot of the public has a lot of things to say about vet med, whether it's good or bad. As we
Right.
all know, I mean, we get the comments all the time. So I feel like I have the unique kind of perspective that a lot of my followers or clients, maybe they don't have a good opinion of vet med, but I'm very vocal about the fact that I'm a veterinary assistant, that I work in vet med. I even remember like sharing something about one of my own dogs when he had a dental, just to help kind of use my platform to advocate for our pets too, really. Because I am very grateful that the clinic I work at, they treat us very well. We have really good like employee discounts and services and whatnot. And our doctors, we are like, it's a 7 doctor practice, so it's pretty big. And
Oh,
I love all of the doctors I work with. I would trust any of them with my dog's care. But one of my dogs is actually aging, which has been hard for me in the last year to
Sorry.
accept. And then we have the 2 others, they're younger, but like knowing that I am having like, in my opinion, the highest level of care that I could physically give my animals, I have joked that like I'm only working there to afford them because
I mean, a lot
at
of
this
people
point,
say that. That's not unusual in our field.
Yeah.
yeah,
No.
that has been a huge perk for me because, like, for example, at the end of last year, they had like a student doctor because we also have a dental practice attached next door. I personally could never afford those the prices for my own dogs because they're getting x-rays, they're
Yeah.
being monitored by an lvt, like the standard is very high, so
Yeah.
you're not paying $300 for a dental.
Right.
You're paying for that higher standard of care, which if I didn't work there, I can relate to those clients that couldn't afford that standard of care. I've had to seek out like more cost-effective veterinary care when I've been out of the field just from having multiple animals. But because I worked there, I was able to have dentals for 2 of my dogs with a student doctor for a very reasonable price. And like one of them even had 2 abscess canines that had to get extracted, which we
Oh,
didn't know about until we did x-rays. So
Right.
that was huge for me to be able to provide that level of care for them.
the clinic they go to, they provide really good care, and they delineate their technicians from assistants, even though title protection is very loose here in Michigan. So that, and Hannah's told me her pay before, and I'm like, damn, I didn't even make that as an LVT. Like, yeah, they're
That's
solid.
good.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So I think her clinic and that, and then she gets to do what she loves to do on the side a little bit too, which I think
Hmm.
I would say, Jen, you probably agree with me. Most of our listeners are probably have like side hustles. They probably do relief on the side.
Oh,
They probably
yeah.
do mobile work on the side. I would say that's the majority of our listeners are just like Hannah,
Well, I
to
think
where
they definitely start off that way. I
yeah,
think almost every single one of us started off that way.
Yeah. I will say that even at a very well-paying and well-treating clinic, I do think that I have to have the side hustle to be able to
Yeah.
afford my life, essentially. So I'll advocate for that half too, because several of my coworkers also will do like dog sitting. So like
Hmm.
it is nice that we have that connection because we work at the clinic. And like for me, I have gotten clients because of working there. Some of my fellow assistants, they've gotten dog sitting gigs because of working there. But I will say that the field in general, even for me as an assistant, I'll kind of give you guys my perspective. I would actually not become an LVT
I
because
hear
the
that a lot.
pay difference
yeah.
is not even enough to make the schooling worth it for me personally because of what I'm making from my business. And I I'd rather invest the time and the money into that, quite frankly, than becoming an LVT just because I feel like there's kind of more potential for me having my own business. You can only go so far in vet med.
I think she's got some interesting points. With her photography.
Yeah.
The pay. I've been telling Hannah she needs to go more full time with her photography and pull back from the clinic because I know how much she
I mean, if
makes
that's how you
for
feel
photography.
truly about vet med and about how your career's going in vet med, then yeah, go where you find more potential. Go more full time and where you think that you'll have more potential and you'll make more
Yeah.
money. And
Yeah.
and if that's where you think that your passion is, then that's what you should do. I mean, yeah,
Yeah.
I agree.
So I am kind of at a point where I don't feel that I want to leave. I don't see that happening for me at all in the near future.
Leave vet
But
med.
yeah, to leave vet med.
It's
Because
hard.
look, it keeps pulling me back
There it's
anyways,
yeah,
but
there's something about it.
and because again of where I'm at, like with my dogs, I want to be able to continue to provide them the
Yeah,
same level of
true.
care, but I see myself maybe cutting back slowly, like a
Mhm.
little bit, just kind of as I can hopefully add more income producing things to my photography business, whether it's offering weddings where I'm making more money or focusing more on working in more clients into my schedule. So making that way to advertise more to get more clients or passive incomes. My husband and I do eventually want to get some property. So
Mhm.
I would love to be able to offer like photography rental and really focus on the aspect of it being a pet friendly space
Yeah.
because that's very hard to find in our area.
Yeah.
It's very hard to find like
Private sessions.
exactly where I can find public parks and whatnot, but I do struggle for sure in the winter. And even then, I feel like it's been like I've used a dog friendly greenhouse before, and they've been phenomenal. But I feel like I have this fear that I'm gonna like overstay my welcome just because I'm bringing dogs there because they have normal people that are shopping. So I would love to have a place that was just freeing, and I knew that it was my own, and maybe I could offer it to other pet photographers as well,
Right. I
just to
mean,
also have a little
that's an
passive
investment.
income too. Yeah.
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 Yeah. I think it's pretty rare. I mean, we see a lot of photographers, and I see a lot of high-end photographers. They make bank, man. They
Mhm.
make a lot of money. And you don't see enough exclusively pet photographers. There is one in my area. She's phenomenal.
Mhm.
But again, she's the only one that I know of that just does I think she does mostly equine, but she is starting to
Okay.
dabble in dogs. And
Mhm.
man, her photography is beautiful. But she's expensive. She
Yeah.
is expensive. But I mean, you get what you pay for with
Yeah.
photography. And also, there's a lot of time, I'm sure, with animals. And I had a photographer for my business, and I did dogs. I did my dogs in them, and it's just not easy. I mean, even my dogs listen, but they get excited and they're out and
Yeah.
they're in the fields and they're like, and for them, when they're out in those fields or they're out in a session like that, they're like, it's playtime, right? Like it's go time. So it, you really need to have somebody that is, just like you, who is able to delegate that well and delegate your time and to make really good photos with animals. I mean, because you can't tell animals what to do. You can tell
Yeah.
people what to do.
Mhm.
And I mean, a lot
Exactly.
of people can make that look good. I mean, all people have to do is listen to direction. But with animals, I mean, so in all honesty, you could probably charge more than someone who doesn't exclusively do animals. Do you know what I mean?
Right. Yeah, very true.
It's funny, Hannah, you probably remember when you did my photos with Bronson and Kiki, and it's just so funny, Jen, the story. So I really wanted a picture with Bronson's both of his ears up and him with that serious Bronson look, right? Because he often you put a camera in front of him and he opens up his mouth, he pans and he puts his ears down. He's like just goofy looking. I wanted a very serious picture. And we were at that open field, so I know the field that Hannah prefers. Somewhere, do you remember this where the Huskies were like running around like way off in the distance and Bronson like
Oh,
locked eyes and he was like, "Rrr," and he was getting himself all worked up. And then I'm like, Hannah, go now. And
Yeah.
then we got that.
Yeah.
That's my profile picture because he's like looking all serious because he's like, oh, there's another dog. So she took advantage of that moment and was just snapping away because Bronson had both ears up. He was like, where are those dogs at? And she found that moment of like, oh, that's what my client wants. The client was me. I wanted Bronson to look, big tough Dobie. And she was able to capture that because most of his pictures, he's got one ear down, he's got his tongue hanging to the side. He's just a
they're just
doofus.
looking
He really
goofy.
is. Yeah. And I wanted a serious, like, majestic, and she created that and she was able to get that because we were like, this is it. He's doing his Bronson shit and she did it and it was great. And the photo looks great. Like he looks wonderful.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I prefer to have it be the client's true relationship with their animal, especially with dogs because they do have such personalities. Because I find that those are the pictures people really like because it captures how they actually are.
Right.
And it's not just sit still and be quiet and look like a perfect little model. I myself have a hound, so I know that anytime I try to make him sit still and do anything, he's just going to yell at me the entire time. So what are my favorite pictures? The ones where he's standing next to me yelling, you know, baying into my ear,
Mm-hmm.
because that is what our life is with him.
He
Freaking
does.
hounds.
Yeah, he does bay a lot. He does.
That's what they
I
do.
love. Yeah,
I
yeah.
love basset hounds, and I always say I love them so
Really?
much, but I can't deal with the yeasty ears and
Yeah, yeah.
the baying. Man, I
Drool.
love basset hounds so much. Like I love them. Like they're little, like I love them, especially puppies. But anyway, moving on.
They're cute though when they're puppies, but yeah, for me
Mhm.
No, I think they're
Very
cute all the
cute.
it's
time.
the drool. It's
I
the
love I
drool.
love basset hounds so
I did not
much.
know that. I thought you were golden retriever girl. I thought you were
I am, but
like
I still
strictly.
like I love dobies. I love standard poodles, and I love basset hounds, but I would never get them.
um, so Hannah, I know what your work week looks like, but how are you balancing out working in a clinic full time and doing the pet photography on the side? Like, how do you balance that out through the work week with scheduling, hobbies? You got chickens, time with family. Like, how does all that balance out for you?
So a lot of it is just trying to set boundaries with myself, mainly for like time's sake.
Mm-hmm.
So on Sundays especially, I do not do photos unless it's maybe a very special situation. Typically more of like an end of life situation. So that, cuz that's like my husband and I's day, we go to church and we, you know, hang out together, and that's just our day. That's my off day. So I do not book clients on Sundays. I will do Saturdays, and then Tuesdays I have off from the clinic, just kind of with how our work week schedule is. We get a weekday off too, so that's been nice. Because we do typically work like a couple Saturdays a month, but sometimes on Tuesdays I'll work clients in, and now that like we're going into the longer daylight summer season, I will a lot of times work them in after work on like a weeknight too, cuz personally I would rather just do photos while I'm already out working, you know, if I could have like a Saturday off or something. So yeah, it's just been a lot more of really trying to set boundaries with myself and not overworking myself.
Is there anybody who's telling you to do that, Hannah, by any chance?
Michelle has been one, as well as my husband too. If I tend to get like overwhelmed if I've done like book too much. So I feel like these two both kind of get in my ear and tell me when it's a little bit too much.
Well,
Same with
I think that people forget too with photography though. Like not only are you taking the pictures, but then you have to do editing.
exactly.
That
It's the
takes
editing
time.
that is probably the bigger part, because I do also set realistic expectations with my clients from the get-go, that like, hey, if it comes up, I do work full time, and
Yeah.
it's typically 3 to 4 weeks turnaround time, just because I want to have a realistic expectation with them and show them that I respect their time, so I would hope that they would respect mine. And really, it is going to be worth it in the end, because I'm taking the time to find the perfect moments, edit things out like leashes. I edit those out all the time. Sometimes I'll make the eyes pop a little more. I've edited harnesses out. I mean,
Wow.
there's been lots of things that I think more as a pet photographer, I've had to just get comfortable with being part of my regular editing process. Um, so yes, I do have the time where like I do typically edit photos after work every night, on the weekends a lot too. So I do feel like I'm, even if I'm not physically at a photo shoot, I am still constantly working.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a lot of work.
Yeah, I mean, I've never edited, but I know how much Jen edits, and I
Mm.
know how much Hannah edits, and I'm telling you, that is a lot of work. So I feel like if anybody wanted to go into photography, we you have to have a lot of extra time to get those photos
Well, and there's a
done to
skill
edit.
to editing
Definitely.
too. I mean, and I'm not talking even on my level. I'm talking about your level, specifically photography. I mean, like that's a whole separate skill in and of itself with editing and having to learn the software and what it does and what the different shades look like. And my husband's really into that. And he's not even like a professional photographer, but like anybody on the street asks him to take a picture, he's automatically like, he's already changing their settings on their own phone. He's going through and then he's like doing certain angles and then he's like, wait, wait, wait. And I'm like, goodness sake, just take a couple pictures and let them move on with their day. So, but people who are into photography, like, that's what you guys do. Like, it's a whole different talent and skill in and of itself. I think that people don't talk about that enough.
Yeah, my husband jokes that he used to like taking pictures with me before I became a photographer
Uh,
because it is a lot more like perfection now, for sure.
Yeah.
and with the professionals and such, I mean, what do we call them, Hannah? Oh God, where they just take on anything and they don't hone in on their skills as like side. I know we made jokes before, which I know I shouldn't say that, but anybody who just picks up a cell phone and they go in the community groups and like, I'll take your picture. Mini sessions, I
Oh,
think too is one of them.
yes.
Like
Mhm.
mini sessions for like $20,
Yeah.
and how it devalues other people who have the real equipment, like Hannah, who has like she has all the fancy, setup stuff, and she's been trained. She's a veterinary professional, and how God, what is the word that we call them, Hannah? I cannot think of it. Hobby. Is it hobbyist?
Probably hobbyist, yeah.
Is it hobbyist? Because I know we've talked about before where these random people, they decide they want to get into photography and then they'll like undercut other photographers like mad crazy, but
Yes.
clients don't see the value in it. When
Oh,
Hannah's
yeah,
Yeah.
like
no, they
these,
don't.
yeah.
So I would say that photography in general is a very oversaturated field because anyone can pick up a camera and say that they're a photographer. Anyone can, as Michelle and I have seen too, anyone can start any sort of business revolving around pets and say that they have all this experience with them, but either they don't or you don't always know what to trust because the pet industry is not nearly as regulated as,
Mm-mm.
let's say, like something dealing with humans. Like, for example, newborn photography, it's also a very specific niche, but one that I respect newborn photographers who have put in all this time, effort, money into knowing how to properly handle a baby because you can do some very dangerous things on accident to a newborn baby when you're trying to pose them if you don't know what you're doing. So for me, like I would never offer that I specifically did newborn photography where you're getting those like creamy dreamy images of the baby like on a cloud, for example, because it's a very involved process. But I have done lifestyle sessions which I make clear that I have had families where they had a baby and they wanted to include like the dogs in the session, but it's more of like let's spend a hour or two with you at your home looking at your life with your baby. It's more so like this is what the real life is, which I would say is not as specialty of a niche.
Mhm.
But I have seen photographers that are like brand new that have not had any training in working with newborns and they're putting babies in dangerous positions, which I've seen other newborn photographers, point out. So I do feel that that kind of exists in the animal world too, just because
Oh, yeah.
for me personally, I would feel more comfortable working with someone who understood animals because my own 3 dogs are their own special personalities. One of mine barks at people he doesn't know. The other one is the hound, so
Exactly.
he's just constantly loud. And you cannot just tell him what to do. Like, it would only take someone that has worked with dogs to know that you cannot tell my hound, "Sit," and he'll sit. He doesn't care.
Well, I mean, that
And
happens in the vet med world too. I mean,
exactly. Yeah.
people devalue what we do. I
Yeah.
mean,
Yeah.
that's just it's unfortunately, it happens in all aspects of all businesses. And I mean, and that's why we push what we push so much, right, Michelle? That's why we do, when we do these interviews, we like to talk about how, veterinary professionals are the ones that are in these type of jobs because you want people who have that background, who have that knowledge, who know what they're doing, who that you can trust. And and that's what makes that big difference between exactly what you just explained, Hannah, of people who don't have that background, but yet they're selling it. And some of them are higher, like some of them are low pricing, they're lowballing, right? But I've seen some people who are more expensive without the same background and the same knowledge that you yourself may have. That's more, and people are paying for it.
Right. Yeah. A lot of it's just all in, I guess, how you market yourself too, because you can also just make things up and
Right.
people will believe it because that's
Yeah.
just unfortunately
Those
kind of
people are
how
brave.
society is. Yeah.
We don't have that problem here, do we, Hannah? Do we have that problem here at all with people making up fake credentials of pet businesses?
I
Yeah.
mean, it's
So
brave. I think that it's
it's
very brave
unfortunate.
when people do that. I couldn't
That's a
imagine.
nice way of putting it.
It 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 is a confidence unlike any other. Um,
It's hard though, because when people are actually, like, at least in Michigan, that was kind of a big thing that I had to get shocked into when I moved here from the West Coast was that I feel like in general, animals were treated a lot nicer in like I
oh,
am from Seattle. So in that
okay.
area, we did not have nearly the amount of issues with shelters and things did get a lot worse after COVID too for like the
Yeah.
rescue world, but in vet med in general. But I feel like when I came here to Michigan, it was a huge adjustment for me. Just because like I have neighbors that keep their dogs outside all the time and or like I've experienced it where they're living outside and just I have that like I've been in the rescue world a little bit too. I've done some fostering and whatnot, and I have seen the most awful things that I never could fathom experiencing. But it just was a little bit of a shock just to kind of see how things aren't even in just different areas.
Yeah. Yeah, I came from California and I saw a lot of that growing up in California. Um, yeah, yeah. Yeah, I don't know, but it is sad.
It is. I'll tell you what, in Kentucky, like you will drive past like a side mountain, and I kid you not, there will be a double wide or a single wide trailer kind of sitting up on top of a hill, and you will see several dogs chained up to like the ground. All right. If some of them may have like one of those rusted out dog houses, some of them may literally have like a shack. And in the South, in Kentucky, they are just like these little hillbilly lawn ornaments in the
Mm.
Appalachia. Like it's so sad. And when I go down there, I cringe. I have to keep my mouth shut. The last time I was down there, my mom was like, Michelle, shut up. You're gonna get a shot. Like, keep your mouth shut. Because I was just blown away at how these people in Appalachia treat their pets. And it's my own family too. But it's weird how the different parts of country, like, yeah, and I know I think it is, Hannah, isn't it, in Washington where you can like take your dogs inside restaurants and stuff? Or is that Oregon where you can literally take them
Uh,
everywhere, but you can't do that here in Michigan? And then in
it's
Kentucky, they just put them in the front yard and leave them there.
I would say it's a lot more dog friendly in general. Like, actually, my husband and I honeymooned in like Cannon Beach, Oregon, seaside area, and that area is very dog friendly. Like, they cater to dogs. I would say Michigan's trying to get better for sure. I think there's a lot of strong people in the dog community here that are trying to make it just more accepted and normal. But yeah, it's funny because like what Michelle experiences when she goes down to Kentucky, I feel that like a little bit for myself coming here when I have seen multiple dead deceased dogs on the side of the road. I never saw that when I was a kid or
Yeah.
anything. And then like the things I've seen with happening in the rescue world, there's like just kind of like what Michelle said with having to keep your mouth shut. I had to like shut my brain off a little bit to it because it got to me. too much, and I had to start leaving. I at one point I was in like all the rehoming groups, and I had to leave because I just couldn't see it
Ugh,
anymore.
I know. I'm like that too. Ugh, it's hard. It's really difficult. Um, all right, Hannah, what would you say is your top strategy for success in your photography business?
I would say keeping my passion about it before anything else, including making money. When I am doing the sessions that also align with me and who I am, I feel things come a lot more naturally to me, and it's just it has blessed me back when I've done things that I'm passionate about with it, instead of either trying to fit in, or I do struggle with anxiety a lot too. So people pleasing has been one of my big struggles, which starting this business helped me immensely with, because I did realize that like you're not going to be able to make everyone happy, but that made me really hone in on just doing what aligned with me and being able to say no if it doesn't align with me. So, eh, taking on those sessions that they are giving back a lot to me as well, and really focusing on that versus just making money, money, money,
Right.
which money is nice, and you do need to make
Yeah,
money to have a business.
true.
But I really, even any new venture that I try to take on with it, I really try to listen to if it's aligning with where I want my business to be or not.
I'll tell her business just from watching it from a professional point of view. I have watched this business like grow a lot. Like I have seen Hannah grow over the past 3 years, 4 years now, to where the boundaries that she didn't have in the beginning, she has now. And I remember very clearly us talking about one client that made her drive halfway across the state and wasn't going to pay her any gas, and how she was like not wanting, how Hannah was like trying to figure out the boundaries stuff. That's when I was walking Max, because I'll never forget, I was walking Max. I know exactly where I was at when we were talking about this client. She wanted like the photos like she wanted to get in like right now, and it was like peak fall, which is like the busy time here in Michigan. And I remember, those struggles in the beginning versus now. I feel like Hannah's definitely like, you know, just like all of us business owners, just like myself, we talk about in the beginning, you're so willing to people please and make everybody happy. But then after a while, you start to like just say, I'm this
It's
is
just
it.
not
This is
worth
my
it
line.
anymore at
Yeah,
that
it's
point.
not worth it. And Hannah wants to keep the passion in there. So by doing that, you have to protect yourself to
Yeah.
continue to love it so you don't burn out.
Exactly. Yeah. I know that the things that are maybe my strong suits or not, or that I would prefer, like, for example, I really don't like driving more than an hour for sessions.
That's fair.
I'm in my car a lot as it is. So I try to, if it's more than an hour away, I will make special occasions, uh,
Mm,
like circumstances, but in general, if it's gonna be that far away, I will try to refer to someone else, which that's been another nice thing too, is I do have a good little network of, I would say, like, acquaintance photographers that I could feel confident with sending a client to. So that's been good too, and having that rapport with them. But yeah,
yeah.
being able to say no as well.
Yeah, it's important. It's definitely important, especially when it gets to the point where you're dreading doing it or you're like, I don't really want to do this. And it's like, then it's not for you because you want
Yeah.
to keep doing what you want to do
Yeah. I
and
also have
enjoy it.
one of the biggest lifesavers for me was when I because of my anxiety, uh a thing that tends to give me anxiety is like dealing with conflict or dealing with someone that's unhappy, which I have gotten better about. But I designed this entire questionnaire because I know that
That's
people
right.
do not read contracts. They just like a lot of them don't. And photographers do struggle with that a lot, where they didn't set good boundaries or expectations for their clients in the beginning. So they kind of just treat them however they want. Or maybe because it wasn't communicated properly, if it would could have been communicated beforehand, you could have avoided that situation. So
Right.
I created this questionnaire that every question on there, the client has to go through and either have a typed answer or like a yes or no kind of like they have to go through and read each question because it won't let you complete the form without it. And they have to physically go and agree to each of these things that I have put in there. And they are there because of a client. Like each question in there is because of a client or a situation that I went through that a lot of times I would think, oh, this will never happen.
Right.
And then it did. So guess what? That got added to the questionnaire. And I would say that the questionnaire is also showing them what my expectations of them are. And if they're not going to take the time to fill that out, then they're most likely not going to they're not going to be the client that I'm looking for, and we're just not going to be a good fit.
Yeah.
So thankfully, I haven't had anyone refuse to sign my questionnaire yet, but I do make sure that that's filled out before the session, just so they also can see, what it is that I'm asking of them. For example, I let them know in that questionnaire, like, hey, my editing time is typically between 3 to 4 weeks. I understand you're excited for your photos, but like, essentially, please try to not bother me excessively during that time asking where your photos are. Like,
Right.
I get the excitement and I have grace for this, of course, but I have had a client in the past that like multiple times a week was texting me like, "Hey, where are the photos? Are they ready yet?" And I'm just like, "I can't do this." I have like an easy question like, how many dogs do you have? What are their temperaments like? Just so I can know what I'm getting into ahead of time.
Right.
Um, so yeah, I would say there's maybe 10 questions or so, but
That's
they're
not bad.
just, yeah, it's not like excessive, but
Yeah.
it might not be something that other photographers are doing. I'm not sure. It might just be me, but I have had other photographers ask in the past, like, hey, can I see that? Especially for the end of life pet photography specifically, because that one is a very special one. When you just kind of a side note, it's another thing like you might not think that this would happen, but it did. I have had clients abuse the system for basically just like trying
Yeah.
to get free family photos because they know that I'm photographing. Let's say it was like a senior dog but wasn't quite end of life. So I made the distinction between the senior sessions and the end of
I
life
already did that.
sessions because I want those end of life sessions to truly be reserved for the people who need it because I actually did initially not charge for them. I never said they were free because whenever you put free in your advertising, it attracts people from the
Yeah.
woodworks. But I did say no payment expected. However, I even had a situation with that. I think it's the one Michelle mentioned where I had actually gone out to this place and I drove very far. I didn't charge them anything. And this is even before I started charging like a gas, like a mileage fee on top of the pay what you can rate. Because I had driven so far. She didn't compensate me whatsoever, which I understand. Like I at the time was not requiring any sort of compensation. But as I was getting busier with them too, I was like, I can't do this. I'm not going to be able to survive as a business if everyone's not paying me anything, which most of my clients are wonderful and have at least paid what they can. I mean, see, it's even been $25 before, and that's fine. Is if that's all they can afford, I understand how expensive end of life pet care is as someone who
Yeah.
works in vet med.
Right.
So I can really sympathize with them there. But yeah, this person didn't pay me anything and then contacted me a year later for the same dog. And I was like, "Huh?" Like
Thought your
I
dog was
have
dying, bro.
yeah, I have had plenty of clients where I don't put a limit on it time-wise, like, if they don't pass away right away, that's okay. I've had dogs that I've done photos for that were just diagnosed with cancer, and they're still here, 2, 3 years later. That's wonderful. I'd rather photograph them when they're themselves, but this was a different situation. I just was like, I didn't think that this could happen, like, did this person just do this to get free photos out of me? I'm
I
not
think
really
she
sure.
did.
So I ended up referring her out, like, to go look into someone else because I ended up having, like, I talked to Michelle about it. I'm like, I don't know how to deal with this. Like, I wanted to deal with it, obviously, with like kindness and trying to understand her situation if
Mm.
she truly does have a dying dog. But, because of, I essentially told her, like, because of the nature of these sessions that I do not expect payment, I'm unable to do this dog's photos a second time. Especially because there was no I didn't say this, but like, especially because there was no compensation the first time. So yeah, I kind of learned that I'm able to serve more people and continue to do these sessions without it interfering with my business because I do the pay what you can rate. And there's no
And just to
expectation, but
clarify this, when you say pays, because I want our listeners to know, when you say pay what you can wait, this is for dogs that have a terminal illness. Like this
terminal
is not, yeah,
illness,
I want to make sure people
or
know that. Yeah.
just like are really kind of at the end, like maybe there's
Circling
some
drain.
bad arthritis going on, or I've had dachshunds with like IVDD that was really bad. So like even those chronic health conditions where they're just the quality of life is kind of starting to go down. But that's why I started offering my senior pet sessions are discounted because I want to encourage the people who don't quite have the end of life pets to still be able to get photos done before their dog or cat or any animal gets to that point. So I do book a lot of those too, but I've priced it at a point to where I can continue to offer those at a discounted rate.
Yeah, but I think that it happens a lot where we try to do things out of the kindness of our hearts, and then people take advantage, and that's why it is so difficult to continue to do those things. So I mean, I think that's fair, and that's why you have to be careful. You have to be careful as a business owner to not try to be taken advantage of when I mean, a lot of times business owners do want to do things out of the kindness of their hearts because these businesses stem from our passion for things. Again, it happens in vet med too. Veterinarians used to do payments and they don't do
Yeah.
payments anymore. So
I know
it
there
stems
are
from the
some
same
clinics.
things.
Yeah, and some clinics that will offer, like, payment assistance even, like, depending on the kind of situation or the client or whatever,
Hmm.
but even then, they're kind of gonna have some sort of vetting system
Yeah,
just because they don't wanna get taken advantage of,
yeah.
and that's kind of what I've done in a way with, like, having the questionnaire is, okay, if you're not
And
gonna
that's how you
take
learn.
the time to fill that out, then I not gonna be able to work with you.
Yeah.
Hmm.
But I mean, that's how we all learn. I mean, I think that that's a normal strategy. That's the best way to do it.
I
Yep.
mean, you learn as you go a lot of times. And I know I did that and Hannah did that. We learn as you go.
Yeah.
Yes, yes. And I feel like a lot of people get nervous when it comes to starting their business because they're like, I don't know how to do this. I don't know how to do that. And I'll tell you what, I knew nothing about business when I started my business. And I still cringe about my first 6 months of new clients that I'm like, oh God, no wonder why they didn't call me back. Like I did that. And you just learn as you go. And sometimes you just gotta just go in and start doing it, realizing that your first little bit, you're not gonna have the answers. You're not. You're just gonna hold on to the seat of your ass and hope that you don't fuck up.
Yeah.
And yeah, and then
Yep.
you learn and you learn and you build and you build. And I've been very fortunate to watch Hannah do that over the past couple years, is learn and build and build. And she's been with me, same amount of time. Like she's watched me grow my boundaries too. Like we share stories of each
Yep.
other, or yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So
And even though we own 2 different businesses, I mean, obviously, because we're friends, there's that aspect of it, but we've both been able to help each other through a lot of situations, even with our own clients,
mhm,
where like the other person was able to give advice to help work through that just as a
yes.
fellow business owner, but also even just working in vet med, having the level of desensitization in a way that we both have, like, I think one of the reasons I'm only able to work with the mass amount of just to flat out say dying animals as I am, which I don't know that the average person can come to grips with. And I'm not meaning to sound like egotistical or anything, but because I work in this field, I have a different level of being able to mentally separate myself in a way because of the job that I've done for so many years, that it doesn't, of course it's emotional, and I have the compassion and the empathy for my clients and their pets, but I feel like I'm able to separate myself a lot more because I have the vet med background.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Hannah, is there anyone in your life that you'd like to dedicate this episode to? Anyone in your personal or work life, or somebody who's inspired or influenced you?
Well, first of all, my husband is the one who pushed me to start my business, even when I did not think it was like a good idea. And he's just always the one to push me into just becoming more successful with it and making it more of a full-time thing. Michelle, of course, because I could not have done any of this without her, and just having someone that I can rely on and come to for advice, and venting plenty of times too. And then just, I mean, my family, they've been incredibly supportive of my business, and just knowing that they're proud of what I've done with it has been huge for me too.
That's beautiful dedication, Hannah. It is.
Mhm.
Yes, and I know your family and your husband, they're all proud of you. I'm proud of you. You've done so much for our little community here outside of Detroit with helping these elder pets that don't have that much time left, capturing those moments in their last days. Like, you've done so much good work. I mean, you made the news, for Christ's sake, okay? They came and found you and were like, "Hey, we heard about you and all the work you're doing." So you touched people in a certain way that a lot of people can't. So it's been a real pleasure having you on
Mhm.
today.
Yeah,
Yeah.
thank you guys.
Yeah, of course. And again, we don't see enough exclusively pet photographers out there. So I hope that if we do have listeners that are out there that are like, man, I've always thought about doing something like that, but I didn't think that it would work or whatever reasons. It definitely, I think we need more of that out here.
Uh-huh.
So, I mean, everywhere. It's just such a cool thing.
And if anybody's listening who is thinking about doing pet photography, you can check out Hannah's work. We'll be attaching all of her socials in the
Yeah.
show notes. That way you can see what she's doing, how she's doing it. Hannah, hopefully you're going to inspire, because I know we got some more artsy vet techs out there, inspire
Yep.
them to,
Oh yeah, we have a lot.
get that good. Yeah. 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 So, I mean,
Trust me,
hopefully
if I
inspire
can
them.
do it, any of you guys can.
Cool. All right.
Okay.
Well, thanks for coming on, Hannah. We loved hearing about your story and we loved hearing about your business. And just like Michelle said, we will have all of her information in the show notes. Do you have a website, Hannah?
I do. It is
Okay.
www.wanderingtalesphotography.com.
Perfect. We'll have that in
Oh,
the show
look
notes
at
too.
that.
And then everyone can check out your work. And then as far as you guys are, so you're located the same location as Michelle. You're located in Michigan, right?
Yeah, like Oakland County based.
Okay. Okay. All
Yeah.
right. Perfect. So if you're in that area and you're interested, check her out. All
Awesome.
right, you guys, we will talk to y'all later. Bye. Thank you so much for tuning in to Endless Journeys, the Vet Tech Odyssey podcast. We hope you enjoyed today's episode and found some valuable insights. If you did, be sure to subscribe so you never miss an episode. We'd love to hear your thoughts, so please leave us a review and let us know what you think. You can also connect with us on all social media platforms at Endless Journeys, the Vet Tech Odyssey podcast. Until next time, keep learning, keep growing, and keep making a positive impact in the veterinary world. We need you guys. Have a great day.